Hello, good evening, and welcome to Late Night Chat. I'm your host, Pete Stoma, the smartest guy on TV. Gino, when my staff and I began researching tonight's episode on unusual sexual fetishes, we pretty much assumed we'd seen it all. You may remember last July's segment on rubber, leather, and howdy-doody memorabilia. And who can forget the 45-year-old housewife from Racine, Wisconsin, who could only achieve climax by duct taping a large alley cat to her butt and jumping naked into a cold shower. Well, tonight's guest just goes to show that the Patent Office of Kink shouldn't be closed just yet. Good evening, Gertrude, and welcome to Late Night Chat.
Thank you, Pete. I think you're the smartest guy on TV.
Well, thank you.
And you're very sexy, too.
Okay, why don't you introduce us to your friend?
Oh, okay. This is my boyfriend, Ramon.
And for the benefit of those members of our audience who haven't guessed tonight's topic, why don't you let us in on Ramon's little secret?
Oh, okay. Ramon died about 6 months ago in a horrible traffic accident, and then I brought him back to hellish life through a combination of satanic ritual and high technology.
So your fetish is...
necrophilia.
That's right, folks. Gertrude enjoys sex with the dead.
Well, not just any dead.
Now, what's the difference? Dead is dead, isn't it?
No, Pete, not at all.
Really?
No, you see, the subject has to have died in some sort of horrible and violent manner, thereby ensuring that the soul will wander the earth, sort of dazed and confused, long enough to perform the sanctum sinistrum.
The what?
It's an ancient ritual of unspeakable evil.
I see.
Yes, first you place the naked body on a wooden floor, making sure that none of the nails that hold down the wooden planks contain iron.
Now, why no iron?
Oh, boy, Pete. Iron makes demons really cranky. I tell you, the minions of hell are tough enough to deal with on an ordinary soul's midnight. But you get them around iron, and you're just asking for it.
So what then?
Then you tattoo the body with the symbols from the Necronomicon. Now, I prefer the New English Standard Version. It's easier to read for content. Then you just place the head to the south, the feet to the north, the arms to the east and the west, and you read the Sanctum Sinistrum from the 3rd book of Hecate.
And that's it?
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, the reanimated corpse usually spends the first hour or so screaming at the top of its lungs and trying to eat your brains. But after that, things kind of calm down and get down to business, so to speak.
You mean sex?
No, Pete, not yet. First, you need to install the neural interface at the base of the cerebellum. Now, this uses the Pentium 666 microprocessor. You'll find the plans for the interface and the remote in the October 1994 issue of Necromancy and Computing.
So you've installed the hardware, you've performed the evil ritual, then what?
Well, then you just put the pedal to the metal and you get ready to rock.
You know, Gertrude, I don't believe we've heard how the two of you met.
Oh, we met at a funeral.
Really, friend or family?
Ramon! Funerals are a great place to cruise for cute boys.
Only in this case, the cute boys were in the boxes, not in the pews.
You're so funny, Pete. Isn't he funny, Ramon?
Well, that's about all we have time for. I'd like to thank Gertrude and Ramon for sharing their unusual, fascinating, and twisted relationship with all of us here on Late Night Chat. Until next time, I'm your host, Pete Stoma, saying good night.
Go! Put him in the special pants!
Due to recent industry downturns, more massive layoffs in all industries. For more, let's go to Mirna Montez. On location. Mirna? Mirna? All alone. And now these lifelike animatronics.
Pardon me, I'd like to make an announcement. Please do not make any sudden or distressing movements, as this would force me to cut you all down in a hail of gunfire. This is an intricately planned bank robbery. I'm sorry, if I was unduly brusque moving through to threaten the teller, I do apologize. I realize that the majority of your banking needs are most conveniently addressed during the customary lunch hour. Regrettably, my purposes are also best served during this peak customer time, because the lunch hour is typically when the smallest number of banking personnel is on duty. Please note that I will make every effort to move this along as rapidly as possible, and allow those of you that do avoid receiving any disfiguring or painful injuries adequate time to eat before returning to your jobs. And again, please accept my deepest apologies in advance for any inconvenience these proceedings may cause.
Well, my baby started to cry, and the first robber, Rupert, or was it Charlie Ellis? Well, he put a gun to my baby's head, and he apologized that it might be necessary to shoot him in the head and the chest unless I could find some way to quiet him. Well, as a mom, I can understand how distracting a crying baby can be, and if you're trying to rob a bank, well, I mean, I know he said he would shoot my baby, but it seemed perfectly reasonable at the time.
In conclusion, and I do think that this certainly bears repeating, yet again, any needless heroics could very well get you shot and result in some secondary damage needlessly to that very lovely William Morris pattern wallpaper. It's quite nice.
I take it from your expression that that may not have been an entirely appropriate course of action at this time?
Well, now, this is a rather distressing turn of events. You see, I had just informed the patrons of this bank that any sudden or distressing movements would result in the use of deadly force. There was, in that statement, the implication that those individuals who did refrain from movement would be safe from harm. It would appear that incentive has now been subverted.
Now, I hope that I've sufficiently clarified that issue. Thank you, sir. That was an excellent question. Now, where were we? The clothing issue?
Oh, yes, the clothing issue, yes. That gentleman there, the
portly?
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. The portly gentleman. Yes, you crouched under the desk there. I couldn't help noticing you're wearing a very handsome Armani suit. Oh, yes, and you, madam, attempting to hide under the water cooler there. Yes, you seem to be wearing a lovely Laura Ashley floral print.
That one?
Now, I did ask you to engage the safety after our last rather unfortunate incident.
In fact, you had. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Now, of all of the establishments that we've robbed, I can't think of one with more smartly dressed employees.
In fact, I must confess that it was precisely this attention to detail that encouraged Rupert and I to rob your bank.
Indeed.
Yes. Now, you will notice from time to time that I'll be referring to my associate as Rupert. His name, of course, isn't actually Rupert.
No, my name is, in fact, Charlie Ellis, although this, too, could be a clever diversion.
Yes, they are very polite. I would that I only had more money to give them. I like them. I like them both. Very polite.
Yes. Oh, well, we seem to be out of time.
Again?
Yes, regrettably. Perhaps we were a bit too verbose. Oh, well, again, I want to thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. It was a pleasure not having to shoot any of you.
Oh,
of course, my mistake. It was a pleasure not having to shoot all of you.
Just a reminder, please do not cooperate with the authorities in any attempt to apprehend us, or we will be forced, regrettably, to hunt down and kill you. I'm very sorry.
As am I.